Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And before I get started, I wanted to ask you something weird. A box of tissues. I don't usually get a box of tissues. I usually just use a roll of toilet paper and I just stick like a roll of toilet paper in the, in my nightstand or in the end table beside the couch or whatever. Anyway, my husband decided I needed tissues because I always have a runny nose. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, I just opened my first box of tissues this evening because I've been very sneezy and wanted to make sure I didn't have anything hanging out before I started recording. And I peeled the little circle thing, from the top of the box. And I thought, I wonder if anyone else is severely bothered by when you rip the covering off of the tissue box, if it doesn't come off perfectly, does it bother you? Because it bothers the hell out of me if I end up like ripping part of the color off of the side of the box or something, and then I have to look at that unperfect box for the length of the whole tissue box. So am I weird, or do you also have that problem? Reach out to me and tell me what you think about the tissue box. Okay, thank you. And now we're going to move on. Today, I'm going to be talking about moving beyond asking why and instead focusing on what and how. And this shift in mindset can help us deal with drinking, relapsing, and mental wellness in a more proactive and empowering way. I feel very sneezy still, and I feel congested. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I hope it's not distracting or disgusting. So I have run across lots of folks in recovery who are early in recovery, and they like to ask the question, why, of themselves. For example, I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. Um, I relapsed. I don't know why I relapsed. I don't know what made me drink, that kind of thing. And I hear it over and over and over again. Not just that, but also like, um, you know, kind of like the if you had my life, you would drink too kind of mindset. Um, I was stressed out about XYZ, and that's why I drank. Or my spouse wasn't nice to me and pissed me off, so that's why I drank. These types of things. So I want to talk about that because I'm very adamant about this. And so hopefully I can come across the way I intend to with this topic. So we can get caught in this loop of asking why. Like, why did this happen to me? Why do I feel this way? Why can't I stop drinking? And while these questions are valid and sometimes very necessary, they can lead to this cycle of rumination and excuses. It can lead to constantly looking for the why in everything. And the why is not particularly important. unless it's something that is dangerous for you, I think the why is not the important part. It's the what can I do about it and how can I fix it? How can I find a solution? So instead, find the solution. We can get stuck in this pattern of looking back, and as we figure out the why, then if we can figure out a why, then we're blaming ourselves or we're blaming somebody else, and we feel sorry for ourselves. So self-pity. And this can be particularly dangerous in the context of alcoholism and mental health, because it's difficult once you get into that loop to get out of it. So when we focus too much on the why, we end up making excuses for our behavior. We might say, I drink because I'm stressed. I relapsed because my life is too hard right now. These reasons can feel justified, but they don't help us to move forward. They keep us really anchored in the problem rather than seeking a solution. So how do we break free from this cycle? By shifting our focus from why to what and how. Instead of asking, why do I drink? Ask, what am I going to do about my drinking? What is the action that I can take? Instead of asking, why did I relapse? Ask, how can I overcome this relapse? How can I get back on track? And this shift in questioning moves us from a more passive state of mind into an active role, being a participant in our recovery. Instead of having life happen to us, we're engaging in our lives and walking in the direction that we want our lives to go. So from looking back to looking forward. So applying this to drinking specifically, if you find yourself asking, why do you drink? You might be able to uncover a host of reasons. I know that I could when I was drinking. I had lots of reasons for why I was drinking. From stress to, well, it's all around me. My friends, everywhere I go, everybody is drinking all the time. So that would be social pressure, really, that I felt. Loneliness, my spouse, my job. There's always going to be a reason if you're looking for it, right? My dog died. It can be anything. But once you've identified these reasons, what's next? What solution is that giving you by identifying the why? Knowing the why is only part of the equation. And honestly, I don't know if it's really a dependency into finding the solution. The more important question is, what am I going to do about it? And this might mean seeking therapy. It might mean calling a friend, calling a sponsor, calling family, joining a support group, depending on what it is that we're dealing with in your life. Finding healthier ways to cope with stress, introducing a new exercise a pattern or whatever, I can't think of the word, in your life, or setting new boundaries in your social life. It's taking actionable steps that move you towards sobriety. today the why might be one thing. You might have an answer for the why today. And then tomorrow, the why is another thing. The answer to why, though, really is because I'm an alcoholic. There really isn't another answer um, that that is necessary. Um, if I'm an alcoholic, I don't need another excuse. That's it. That's why I drink, because I'm an alcoholic. And the more that I try to find another reason other than I'm an alcoholic is really causing me to dodge the truth in my life, make an excuse for not being honest, make an excuse for not doing something about it. Because if I blame something like stress on my drinking, and then I think, okay, well, what am I going to do about it? Well, let's take your job, for example. If your job is stressful and that's why you drink, right? That's the self-talk. Um, and then you need to follow that up with, okay, what am I going to do about it? Well, that leaves you really at a dead end, right? Because it's not like you can just quit your job. It puts you in a situation where the answer is is too big, right? The answer is long term. And when you step away from that mindset of finding a reason that is not grandiose, and we go down to the actual causes and conditions of why I'm picking up, it's because I'm an alcoholic. What can I do about it? I can get help. I mean, there's a multitude of answers. I can call somebody. I can get on the AA hotline. I can go to a meeting. I can log on to a meeting. There's so many answers that are actionable, immediate solutions. But when we try to ignore that and try to find these big impacting reasons in our life, like it's because of my spouse, it's because of my job, it's because of social pressure, it's those grandiose, large, grand scheme of things, ideas are things that aren't usually immediately rectifiable, and therefore gives us more reason to just keep drinking. And I hope that came across right. I don't know if I found the right words for that, but so moving a bit further into, like, say that you quit drinking and you've been a part of the sobriety program, and then you have a relapse. And a relapse can be devastating. I did it. I know it all too well. And it's natural to want to try to go back and look at, okay, what happened that led me to that relapse? And quite honestly, like, I've heard this a lot in sobriety, that our relapse starts, our path towards a relapse starts months before we actually pick up the drink. So it's natural to want to try to go back and look at that and see, like, what happened that put me on this wrong path. Um, and that's important because we need to identify, are there boundaries that I can reestablish, or was I around triggers that maybe I wasn't completely aware of, or, so it's important to look at that stuff. But dwelling too long on the why can lead to feelings of guilt and shame that you did relapse. And that can create more mental unwellness. It can be paralyzing, and it can keep you in that loop of a relapse. And for me, the last relapse I had was 8 months long. And it's because I got in that loop and I was scared to get out of it. I didn't know what to do. I was looking at the why. I was trying to find these reasons, and I was not focusing on the solution, the what and the how. Start with gratitude. When you relapse, I think one of the most important things that we can do is start with gratitude that we lived through it, because I am just more and more experiencing folks that don't make it. And it's that it's one relapse too many, and they don't make it. Um, and it's just terrible. So gratitude is a great place to start, because that's the fatal nature of our disease. For some, to drink is to die. For me, I know that if I were to pick up one drink, it would lead to death eventually. I would not be able to stop. And so for me, to drink is to die. Instead, focus on, how can I overcome this relapse? This might involve reaching out to your support network, go to a meeting, show up at a meeting and tell on yourself, reevaluate your triggers. Maybe there are things that are triggers that you weren't really aware of. And reestablish your commitment to your recovery plan. Reestablish your boundaries. If your boundaries have broken down, put them back up, rebuild them, learn from the experience, and take concrete steps to move forward. Again, look forward to the what and the how about the solution, instead of looking too much backward at the why. This approach is also helpful when dealing with mental unwellness. And this is something that I talked about yesterday, this phrase, mental unwellness. I like it. I hear a lot of folks in recovery say, why am I feeling this way? And this is such an interesting question to me. I get really confused when I hear somebody say, why am I feeling this way? Like, why am I don't know why I'm so upset. That drives me crazy. I don't know why I'm so upset. Um, I don't know that I've ever heard myself say that, because it doesn't matter why I'm upset, right? Or if I don't know why I'm upset, then I probably need to do some meditating, or sit and think about it, or journal, or go to a meeting. Like, what it makes me think of when somebody says, I don't know why I'm so upset, it makes me think that it is not validating their feelings. It is alluding to the fact that their feelings don't matter, that they carry less weight, that they're unimportant. I just don't like it. When I hear it, I don't like it. Um, Mental health is so complex, and the why am I feeling this way can be elusive, but instead ask, what can I do about it? You know, okay, so I'm upset. It doesn't really matter why I'm upset. What can I do about it? How can I shift that mindset as soon as possible? And sometimes that might mean if this upsetness is yes, that's a word now. If it's something that's been long term, seek professional help. If it's something that's kind of in the moment, where you just started feeling agitated and you don't know why. I mean, I know what that feels like. Um, but practice some mindfulness. What I do is I do my beloved push-ups if I'm aggravated or frustrated or something. I try, it's energy. To me, frustration, anger, all of that negative stuff is energy. And I feel like I have to burn it off. And that's really, for me, it seems to be the only way to make it go away. Sometimes I need to burn it off by crying and talking about it. Sometimes I need to cry, talk about it, and run, which I have done in the past. I can't do that now, but I certainly do a lot of push-ups. um, so exercise is a great way to burn it off. Um, and it might mean that you need to make a lifestyle change. If it is a long-term um, upsetness, you may need to look into some sort of lifestyle change that supports your mental health. So similarly, asking how can I overcome these feelings prompts you to seek practical solutions and support. Sometimes I just have to stand up and take a step forward. I don't even know where I'm going. A lot of times. I just know that I can't sit right where I'm sitting because I'm irritated or I'm sad or I'm starting to feel depressive. Or I'm antsy. That's something I've been feeling a lot, is just feeling antsy. And again, for me, it's energy. It means that I've got some excess energy that I need to burn off. And that's why I just stand up. That's my first thing. It's like a habit for me now, is to just stand up and start walking. Walking towards what? I don't know. If I have to walk up and down the stairs, then I'll walk up and down the stairs. Like whatever I need to do to burn off the excess energy that is causing me to just feel not right. So by shifting our focus to what and how, we empower ourselves to take control of invisible illnesses. And that's what I'm talking about here. It's invisible illnesses, and I've got a lot of them. Um, we move from a place of passivity to active problem solving. And this doesn't mean that we're ignoring the underlying causes of our struggles, especially if something needs to happen, right? If somebody is in an abusive relationship, or you're being mistreated in some way, we have to look at the causes when there is a greater risk for our physical well-being as well. But in a lot of cases, it doesn't come down to that. It really comes down to not getting stuck in the why, and just acknowledging the why, and then learning from it and taking action to overcome whatever it is that you're struggling with. So to wrap up, I challenge you to apply this mindset in your own life. And next time you find yourself asking why, stop. Stop and reframe the question. Like if something makes you sad and you cry unexpectedly, don't say, why am I crying? Instead, ask yourself, what can I do? Is this a healthy cry? Sometimes it's good. Instead of being like, why am I crying? We can either celebrate the fact that, okay, I must have had something in there that needed to come out, because that happens to me sometimes too. Um, or how can I overcome it? Do I need to talk to somebody? And in doing so, this is taking proactive steps towards your mental well-being. So I'm very passionate about this topic. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Recovery Daily Podcast. If you found this discussion helpful, please share it with others who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I will talk to you tomorrow.